Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are breaking down one of the most decisive battles in history. We're talking about Waterloo. A single day of fighting that didn't just end a war, it toppled an emperor and redrew the map of Europe for the next 100 years. So how does that even happen? How can one single battle just end an empire? Well, let's get right into it. We're going to see how this crazy, epic fight on a muddy field in Belgium changed, well, pretty much everything. All right, so to really get this, we've got to go back to March 1815. You've got Napoleon Bonaparte, the guy they thought they'd gotten rid of, making this unbelievable comeback. He's back in France, and he is rolling the dice one last time. I mean, picture this. He escapes from exile on this little island, lands in France, and somehow retakes the whole country without a single shot being fired. His old soldiers just flock to him. It's incredible. But this little comeback tour of his, it set off some major alarm bells across Europe. His old enemies were not happy. And by not happy, I mean they immediately got the old band back together. The big powers, we're talking Britain, Prussia, Austria, Russia, they formed this thing called the Seventh Coalition. And their mission was simple: get rid of Napoleon for good this time. Napoleon, smart guy that he was, knew his only play was to hit them hard and hit them fast, before they could all link up and just overwhelm him. So that's the setup. This incredibly risky strategy basically puts everyone on a collision course. And that collision is going to happen in what's now Belgium. This is where three of the most legendary commanders of the age are all going to end up on the same field of destiny. Okay, so let's look at the players. In one corner, you've got Napoleon's crew, the l'Armée du Nord. These guys are veterans. They're all French, a single, unified fighting machine. And in the other corner, you have the coalition army. It's a bit of a patchwork quilt. You've got British, Dutch, Belgian, and German troops all thrown together. And they're led by two guys with totally different styles: the calm, calculated Duke of Wellington and the aggressive, fiery Prussian Field Marshal Blücher. And when you look at the raw numbers, it does not look good for Napoleon. Not at all. He's got 72,000 troops. The coalition, a whopping 118,000. He's seriously outnumbered. So what's his plan? He's betting everything, and I mean everything, on his own genius. He thinks he can outsmart them, pick them off one by one, and make those numbers not matter. Wellington, on the other hand, knows he's the first target, and he is a master of defense. So he picks his battlefield very, very carefully. He finds this ridge, Mont Saint-Jean, and digs in. But the real genius move, he identifies two key spots: a chateau called Hougoumont and a farmhouse, Haye Sainte, and turns them into these fortified strong points. These two little farms are going to become the absolute bloody heart of the battle. Okay, the stage is set. Morning of June 18th, 1815, the battle begins, and Wellington's whole defensive plan, it's about to be tested to its absolute limit. And what a battle it was. Just a brutal, all-day slugfest. It kicks off in the morning with this massive French assault on Hougoumont. Then, around midday, Napoleon unleashes his cavalry, thousands of them, smashing against the Allied center again and again. The pressure is just immense. And then, late in the afternoon, disaster strikes for Wellington. Haye Sainte, that other crucial farmhouse, it falls. All the while, the one question on everyone's mind is, where in the world are the Prussians? So how do you stop thousands of charging horses and men with sabers? Well, Wellington's guys had a trick up their sleeve, and it was called the infantry square. It's brilliant, really. The soldiers form up into these tight, hollow squares, creating a wall of bayonets pointing in every direction. The horses just won't charge it. And it's this disciplined tactic that saved them over and over again that day. But here's the thing. Even with clever tactics like that, by the late afternoon, they were at the breaking point. When Haye Sainte fell, it tore a huge gaping hole right in the center of Wellington's line. His men are exhausted, bleeding, and he's got pretty much no one left to send in. His army is hanging on by a thread. So Wellington's army is about to collapse. But just then, Napoleon gets some bad news of his own. The Prussians, they're finally here. And they're not reinforcing Wellington, they're hitting Napoleon's flank. Suddenly, he's the one in a vice. Time is running out. He knows he has to end this right now. He has one last card to play. And that card is the Imperial Guard, his final ace in the hole. This isn't just any unit. We're talking about the best of the best, the elite, the guys you send in when you absolutely, positively have to win. For years, these guys were the boogeymen of Europe. They were legends, veterans who had seen it all and won it all. They had never been beaten in a direct assault. So when they started marching up that ridge, that wasn't just another attack. That was it, the climax of the entire Napoleonic era, all riding on these men.
So the question is, was it enough? Could the legendary, invincible Guard finally shatter Wellington's beaten, bruised, but somehow still standing army? Everything, everything, hung in the balance.
And the answer, in one of the most stunning turnarounds in history, was no, they couldn't. Wellington's men somehow found the strength to stand and deliver a crushing volley of fire. And the Guard, they stopped. Then they hesitated. And then for the first time ever, they broke and ran. Can you imagine? The sight of their invincible heroes running for their lives just broke the French army's spirit. It was a total catastrophic collapse.
So the battle's over. Napoleon is defeated. But this isn't just the end of a battle. It's the beginning of a whole new chapter for Europe. For Napoleon, it was game over. For real this time. He abdicates again, and they ship him off to St. Helena, this ridiculously remote island in the middle of nowhere. His story is done. For the winners, the coalition, it's a total victory. They put the old kings back in charge and start figuring out a new way to keep the peace.
And you have to stop and think about what that really meant. This one day of fighting put an end to more than 2 decades of almost nonstop war. An entire generation of Europeans had grown up knowing nothing else. It's almost hard to wrap your head around.
And what came next was something totally new. They called it the Concert of Europe. Basically, it was a new system where the great powers agreed to, talk things out instead of immediately going to war. It was all about keeping the balance of power and stability. And believe it or not, this system more or less worked, shaping politics for almost 100 years. So there you have it. That's our look at Waterloo, a single, bloody day that ushered in 100 years of relative peace. It's just wild how one day can literally change the world for generations to come. And it kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? What is the real price of stability?